I'm back with another video, y'all. I haven't made a video in a minute. And one of the main reasons why I haven't made a video in a minute is just because I feel like I'm in a state of no thought, which is great. I'm not thinking. I'm just like in a state of observance. And I realize the state of observance makes me happy for sure. Like being a rock observing, it is fun. That's what I'm finding, that's what makes me happy. Being an observer. But it is tough because, you can't be an observer in this life full time, right? You have to do. So then when you have to do, you have to think. And when an observer thinks, it stops us from doing, So, and I'm speaking of from Soul, right? Remember Soul, 22 or whatever. She just liked walking around, looking at stuff, maybe eating some pizza. That was what, she liked with life, or he or she or they. That was a they, them, I guess, right? That was a they, them. That's what I think I like. But in this realm that we're in, it's tough. That's why I said, we in this space where, actually I want to double back. But when I'm in this state of observance, I notice to fully be able to observe and sit back, I notice emotions come up. And this is what I talk about all the time, right? I tell you all this because it's true. A lot of people live in denial. A lot of people live in denial. I mean, you can live in people can live in all different types of worlds, but the world I live in, all I see are people in denial, and they're suffering because they live in denial. And like I said, when the more you identify with the denial persona, that's why the fake it till you make it. It's like I've done a 180 on the fake it till you make it. You may benefit from the fake it from you make it, right? Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you... But the thing is, you get further away from self. And when you get further away from self, you'll need a coping mechanism. And that's all everybody has, is a coping mechanism. We have a cope so that... Because you understand you're getting further away from self, because when you're closer to yourself, you realize that what the world that we're in doesn't provide what you need, right? So what happens, right? So what happens when you get further from self? Me, I'm getting chubby, so you eat. For me, that's what I do. I eat. And what is eating? Eating is holding on to emotions. Eating is holding on to emotions because you don't want to let go of those emotions, because when you have to let go of those emotions, you align with them. Not that you align with them in a sense, because it gives you constantly something to feel. Because when you're in a state of observance, or when you're in a state of true self, you're not feeling. Things pass off you. Things pass you by, right? You're not sticking, and you're not attaching to anything. And that can be scary for some people, because they'll be like, well, how, like, for example, people be like, well, how can I continue to do something every day? Well, that's why this society, that's why I said you'll get further detached from self. So what ends up happening is you'll become yourself truly, and then you'll realize, damn, this whole life shit sucks. Then you do a coping mechanism and you fall back into place, because you realize being your true self doesn't get you anywhere. Another thing people will do when they get, that's why I always mention, the breath, right? If you can't, not taking deep breaths, not taking one conscious breath in the entire day, you're not there, you're not present, you're not in yourself. I'm trying to think of how can I explain the best way, like separate from self, because I feel like you guys know what I'm talking about. It's just when you align yourself with other things and activity and things that are not you, but you're using them to fulfill the void, and the void is created because you are not being yourself. You're not really in alignment with yourself. So when you're not in alignment with yourself, in a sense of like there's a space between you and another thing, you have to fill the void. You fill the void, but it doesn't get you anywhere. But the thing is, that's the issue, though. It does get you somewhere in this reality, because it only gets you somewhere in this reality because there's nothing of substance in this reality. And I'm not saying that there couldn't be. It's if we all came together and, we made something of substance. But since there's nothing of substance, you have to be of nothing. You have to become of nothing. You just become nothing. Think about if we're being truly, truly honest. What has an athlete provided anything besides entertainment? What have they ever said anything that you wanted to hear? Do any musicians ever provide anything besides entertainment? When have them ever, not just pushed an agenda? Same with actors. Same with politicians. It's all everything's just entertainment. Can you find anything that gives you actual substance from outside yourself? I'm talking about from outside yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. Let's not confuse what I'm saying as like you can't get inspiration or something from something. But what I'm talking about at the base root of something, what is this is why I said, this is why I hate to even say this stuff, because it sounds negative, but it's just the truth. Because when you hear the truth, it sounds sucky, but it is what it is, like, what is inspiration? Inspiration is to be another version of yourself, to become another version of yourself, to better yourself. But what if that self doesn't even align with you? And that's what I'm talking about. Don't get me wrong. Now there's versions of you that you can become that align with you, but if you want to become like everybody wants to become, a famous, influencer and stuff, but that doesn't align with you. So you watch something that influenced you to become an influencer or something, but that doesn't align with who you are. So then you're going to fill the void, and the void is easy because of the realm is this realm is the void. So you're just filling it with stuff that's already in the void, right? This void will provide you with endless amounts of drugs, endless amounts of anything you need, because that is the void. So when you're really, truly yourself, you step back, right? You step back. You step back from it all, and you're just looking around, and you're just commentating on it. And then you're like, man, I don't align with none of this. I like just being me, observing, giving my 2 cents. Because when I have this 2 cents, right, that's the thing. When you have the 2 cents, at least you have two, you know what I'm saying? You got 2 sides. When you're not yourself, you only have one side because you aligned with it. I'm aligning with the not self and myself. I see both. I see how you became that, and I see how you could not become that. You can't see how to become the observer, though. So that's really why I haven't been able, to put a video out. It's just I've been in a constant state of observance, but, also got to battle, you got to still do in this reality. And it's like, I feel like, honestly, not to be dramatic, but it feels like because I was like, damn, everybody wants to talk about, when you get in a relationship. This is what I've learned being in this relationship. This is my first relationship really ever, right? I'm talking about mature ass, emotionally mature. We're really working on our shit, really learning about each other, really everything. They always want to be like, yo, you get whipped, da 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 da. That's what people say, right? Men say, you get whipped. First of all, I don't even know what the fuck that even means. Now that I'm realizing, I think whipped is, I think, whipped isn't a real thing, but I think, for me, what it's allowed me to see is more flaws. The growth in the relationship has allowed me to see more flaws, which means even more growth, which means separation from things I don't need to obtain things I would like. But what I don't need anything. So it's just becoming more and more clear. The relationship has brought more vision. And that's why I've asked people before, I've told people like, yo, when you get in a relationship like this, are you able to sacrifice and give up things? I'm not saying sacrifice and give up things, but I'm talking about like in your life, like the coping mechanisms you use, are you able to give up those coping mechanisms? And a lot of people say no. Because they're like, man, I'm not ready to detach from this yet. So that's where I'm at. And then, on top of that, family turmoil, when you grow up in a chaotic household, right? If you've grown up in a chaotic household like me, when you're in this observant state, sometimes old emotions pop up. And you're just like, ooh. You're in like kind of flight or fight mode. And you're like, why am I in flight or fight mode? And then it's like, because now that I'm safe, feeling safe, and my inner child's coming out, my inner child, you got to also remember how it works, right? When your inner child comes out, what happened when you were a child? It felt unsafe. So that's why they say life is like a staircase, that spiral staircase of like going down and shit. Because it's like you went down, or no. You went up, right? You're like, damn, I'm feeling safe. I'm working on myself, emotional maturity. I'm killing it. But then when you get up, you realize all the stuff you put down is coming up. And then you go back down with it because you sync with it instead of working on it and getting it out of you. This life shit is interesting, man. This life shit is interesting. I just see it with everybody. That's why I say I see so many people in denial, suffering. And I'm at the point now where I used to want to be like, yo, let's do this. Let's fix that. And it's funny because I was such that person to reach out and want to help and fix and do. Now that I'm not, I'm getting hit up 24/7. I'm getting blown up. Oh, you good? Now the question is, am I good? Because I'm not using the same behaviors I used to help heal others. Because I'm focused on healing myself. So now that I'm healing myself, are you good, dude? You sure you want to be doing that? Healing yourself? That's why I said, don't get this twisted. I'm not saying don't, go out and be what you want to be, but I'm saying the harsh truth, the harsh reality of it is that when you become one of these, that's a character. You're assuming an identity. You're putting the mask on. You're becoming the character to attain that goal. That's why it's so hard. That's why it's so hard for them to keep it going. That's why I think about why every actor, musician, athlete, they struggle when it all comes down. Or if they don't even finish the career of it, they struggle during it because it's a balance. This realm is duality. So think about that. If this realm is duality, evil and good, and then yourself versus your not self, right? So then let's say you become an alternate version of yourself to achieve a goal. Let's just break this down. So you become an alternate self to achieve a goal. It's another pair of duality. That's even more anxiety on top of anxiety. Because now that you aligned with that, the person they expect you to be isn't who you are. So this is what happened. Now you got to take it 3 steps back, right? Now this is where we're getting deep with it. So the person that they had to become this famous person, when they want to take a seat back and be like, okay, I'm by myself. No one's around me. I can become myself again. That's still not themselves because they detached even further from it. So when they get down again, they have a panic, they have a semi, oh, what the fuck's going on? I'm telling you, this is exactly what happens. I know this is what happens. Watch. So they and then they sit back down again, right? And they work through that part and they go, okay, I'm myself again, right? They finally got back to their true selves. But then in order to get back to that fake persona, they got to go through the step they just worked through. They're like, wait, how the fuck did I, now your brain's all fucked up, right? They're like, how did I even, how many times have y'all heard somebody even say, I don't even know how I was that person. I don't even know who that person was. When they talk about like themselves healing and stuff, they're like, I don't even know who that was. They don't even know how to take the steps to get back to the person that got them there. Think about that. Now, this is the issue though. If you can't even work through that one step, and that's what happens is it's when you just crash because they built that barrier. So I'm saying that in a sense for me too. Like I had that barrier up. So many things. Flight or fight mode. Trauma from family. All that stuff can just be repressed down. And then you gotta. That's why I said you can't work through none of this stuff in isolation. Don't believe them. They want you isolated. That's what they want. They want you isolated. The narrative is, no one can handle me. No one loves me enough to help me work through these issues. No one's going to stick by me. That's the narrative, right? No one really loves you for you. Because the first option they want you to do is run. Run. And then what does running mean? Run from your true self. Go back to the fake self because that's what will work for you. Instead of hunkering down, working through whatever you got going on. I hope this video wasn't, too, I don't even know. I feel like this is probably my most eloquent video yet. I feel like I really just said some stuff. I feel like I really, preaching that emotional maturity, really helping everybody get to a place where we can heal. And that's why I said, these doom and gloomers, it's another, any person who's preaching negativity, bad conspiracies and all types of stuff, fear every day. It's because it's another detachment. It's easier to detach from this reality, like that, right? If I just preach fear and the world's ending and everything, then you go, okay, what that really is saying is good, because then I don't have to work on myself. I don't have to face through any of these issues I'm going through. I can just say the world's going to end, and then I'll never have to get to it. That's all that is. That's why those people have to die. They'd rather die than any of that come true. Than it not come true. They need it to be true. And like I told y'all, this reality will give you anything you want. But the thing is, though, everybody's always like, why doesn't the reality, give me, I don't know, money, or give me fame? The reality only will give you, I think, truly what your being is. So if you sounds fucked up, I think, if you are really that fake, you can't lie to yourself. I think if somebody's really messed up, like for example, if you really are in a sense fake, evil or something, the reality will provide you exactly what you want because that's who you are. I can't lie. You can't lie to somebody and be like, oh, I want to be this. That's like me telling you, I want to be a pro bowler. No, I don't. That's a lie. And then even the genie, if I told the genie, hey, can I have 3 wishes? And he'd be like, what you want? I said, can I be a pro bowler? He'd be like, you don't want to be no pro bowler. He's like, you sure you want that wish before I do this? And then I'm like, nah, you're right. I can't lie. And even the genie knows I'm lying. All right, I'm cutting it off. It's 20 minutes. I haven't made a video in forever, so I feel like it's allowed. What the fuck? Is that allowed? If y'all remember that video. That's all. It's a throwback. All right. Love y'all. Be safe. You already know what it is.